Let's get into our guy, Caleb Williams, man. So I feel like yesterday was a very smooth morning until some reports came out. So there was a big old ESPN alert on my phone from a book that's coming out from Seth Wickersham. I think that's how you pronounce my man's name. Wickersham.
Wickersham.
He is ESPN senior writer. He is pretty much spot on everything that he has talked about in his career. And he has a book about really the ups and downs of being a quarterback throughout the history of the NFL. It talks about the John Elway situation when he didn't want to play, where he was going to get drafted. And you also have, Archie Manning, and him helping Eli get to go. Something was happening with Arch Manning. And it has but a chapter about Bears starting quarterback Caleb Williams not wanting to go to Chicago. In fact, we have some of the quotes up here. Shout out our super producer Nikhil in the building. Let's see, we got a
Welcome
quote
back,
right
boy.
here. Yeah, Dante is very happy that you are back. Chicago is the place that quarterbacks go to die. Carl Williams, Caleb's father, told Seth Wickersham, author of American Kings, biography of the quarterback in the months before the 2024 draft. Now the next thing it says Carl Williams went to great lengths to try to circumvent the NFL draft. Wickersham writes, wanting to give his son an opportunity to choose his future employer. The Bears had not drafted a star quarterback since the 1980s, and their recent draft selections, Mitchell Trubisky and Justin Fields, didn't pan out. Carl Williams is worried that with the franchise's history, stadium uncertainty, and offensive performances under then head coach Matt Eberflus, Caleb Williams wouldn't have the organizational support to succeed. I don't want my son playing for the Bears, Williams told several agents in 2024. Let's see. Well, there we go. He said, I need to go to the Vikings. This is what Caleb told his father. Let's do it, his father replied. But both Caleb and Carl knew that a trade to division rival was extremely unlikely. Bears GM Ryan Poles stood firm, telling Williams, we're drafting you no matter what. That left one option, to publicly attack the Bears in the city of Chicago, hoping it would make the situation untenable, similar to what Jack and John Elway did with the Baltimore Colts in 1983. He's worried about me taking bullets, Carl Williams told Wickersham of his son. I don't care. I just don't agree with this shit. I'm more interested in making sure that he can do whatever he wants to do. But Caleb was concerned that if they did it, try and make it but Caleb was concerned that they did try and the Bears refused to trade him, it would make a tough situation worse. In the end, Caleb Williams told Wickersham, I wasn't ready to make the city. Let's see, what's the next part? So I wasn't ready to nuke the city. That's what it was. I wasn't ready to nuke the city. Enter a pre-draft visit to the Bears facility. Williams believed he could just be a part of the process to turn the franchise around. I can do it for this team, Caleb told his dad. I'm going to go to the Bears. The Bears declined to comment. The book also sheds light on Williams' tumultuous rookie season in which both Eberflus and Waldron were fired, and the Bears lost 10 straight games. At times, Williams said he would watch film alone with no instruction or guidance from coaches. No one tells me what to watch. Caleb Williams told his dad, I just turned it on, which is nuts, by the way. Commissioner Roger Goodell conducted. Oh, that's another. That's another thing. But anyway, yeah. So that's what we got from Steph Wickersham in his book about Caleb Williams. My initial thoughts on this. First of all, I gotta give props to Bears Twitter for once because I thought there was going to be a bad backlash. And really the backlash was just from idiot fans who are not Bears fans, who just like to troll Bears fans. To me, yes, it's a big deal because, it's May. There's really nothing else to talk about with post-draft. Getting ready into 2 weeks of OTAs, and then we got mandatory minicamp first week of June, and then it's absolutely silent for the next 7 weeks for the actual training camp starts. I look at it like this. I don't blame Carl Williams. I think that the lengths he was trying to go through was goofy. Thinking that type of stuff was going to work. But his overall sentiment of not wanting his son being set up for failure, who could blame him for that? As Bears fans, as Bears media, we all said this. Like, we said this, 8-9 months before Caleb Williams even felt like a reality. I remember after the 2023 season, I said October 2023. From what I'm hearing, this man is not getting fired next year. And I did not get a good response from Bears fans out there, but it was true. And if we as Bears fans thought this, what were other players and family going to feel about this? Well, and if you look at it, every concern that they had last year happened. This man had 3 offensive coordinators last year. 3. This man had 2 different head coaches last year. He had a part where he was actually looking at film by himself. And I know that idiot Emmanuel Acho said that, ooh, somebody needs to show you how to play, how to look at film. Yes, nigga. The people who actually need to look at film are rookie quarterbacks who have never experienced being in the NFL. Yes, they need to learn what to look for when watching film. I don't even know why we even having that discussion to begin with. That was asinine. And you just see all the responses since the firing of Matt Eberflus that a lot of players said that we knew this wasn't going to work in May. In May, my nigga, doing OTAs. So, of course, everything he said was going to happen, happened. And then you see other players going around doing interviews. I saw Kyler Gordon did an interview with Barstool Chicago, and they asked him, was it as bad as it looked? And he just laughed. Like, yeah, yes, it was. So, to me, this is just a reflection on what went on last season. And I think all Bears fans said, you know what? We understand where you're coming from, and we're on your side with this. Now, you have other idiot fans say, how do Bears fans feel about Caleb not wanting to be there? The only quote that makes sense that I care about in that whole piece now is that I think I can make it work with the Bears. Who cares? He's here now. Everything he wants, he has. He has the head coach that everybody's wanted for the last 2 seasons, the offensive minded coach that us as Bears fans have been asking for the longest time. He got that. You got a whole rebuild offensive line. You got another year with DJ Moore. You got year 2 Roma Dunze, and you drafted a really good offensive wide receiving talent in Luther Burden III. You got 2 tight ends now. You got Cole Kmet and you got Colston Loveland. And don't forget about you got DeAndre Swift in the backfield. He's got all the pieces you need to see. And not just that, you got coaches. You got good running back coaches. You got good wide receiver coaches. Everything that you need is here. I think this will matter more if Ryan Poles didn't do his job this offseason. But he did. And I also like that Ryan Poles told them, well, nigga, too bad for that. We're going to draft you anyway. We can still sit up and say whose decision it was to keep Flus. I'm still in the belief that it was George McCaskey saying, I'm not finding another coach, because I don't even believe Ryan Poles had anything to do with that man getting hired in the first place. But that's old stuff to begin with. I think this is all old news. It's just stuff we're talking about right now. There's really not nothing else to talk about. But I will say this. I'm very interested to see what he's going to say next Wednesday when he meets the media. Now, he hasn't 100% been confirmed. I've just been told that just players and Ben Johnson will meet with the media. So Caleb hasn't been confirmed by himself, but I'm pretty sure he will be talking on Wednesday. But Bears fans on his side now. But let's be very clear about one thing. If he does not have a good season, or if he starts out rough, they're going to get on his ass. Like, this part right here doesn't help that thing. But overall, I think it's a moot point right now. But it's just really just telling Bears fans what we all knew to begin with. Bang, I'm gonna go to you first. What was your first thoughts when the article came out, and what do you feel about it?
And like that was literally it. It was like, all right, okay. I wrote a couple of things down, and I normally don't do this. I normally keep everything up here, but I did this specifically because of this segment. Because it was a couple of things that I just want to get off. So first of all, I told y'all niggas. All right, we told y'all niggas. I told y'all niggas. I told y'all them first couple of games, it don't look like Caleb being coach. It looked like Shane Waldron and them just along for the ride. And then that video came out of Shane Waldron trying to coach him up and Caleb looking like, what the fuck? I said and was saying since the beginning of training camp that they was treating Caleb like he was a 5-year vet and he already knew it all. So that's one thing that I want to make sure that I just get off. He didn't trust the staff. They didn't trust the staff since day one, but a lot of people didn't realize it until the season started. This falls all on Ryan Poles. He failed miserably. He delayed the progress of a number 1 pick overall, a generational talent, all of that stuff. But this is number 1 on him. The Vikings game, and I think we talked about it on here. That Vikings game makes even more sense. Because remember after the Vikings game when the Bears lost and Caleb and Kevin O'Connell embraced for a while. They were talking. And we talked about that on the show like, yo, what kind of shit? Because it even got to the point to remember when Kevin O'Connell, towards the end of the season, when it was rumors that he might, like, they was going through issues with resigning his contract and all of that
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
remember it was a report that came out. I forgot who it was, but they said that it was a coach that said, "How come I can't go to the Bears? Like, why not me?" I officially believe that that was Kevin O'Connell, and it was him saying, "Yo, if they don't sign me, I'm going over there in division with the quarterback that I wanted." Which, if I'm JJ McCarthy, I'm looking at this like, damn, you really didn't want me, huh? You just ended up with me. And that's why y'all having these conversations with Aaron Rodgers or was kicking that around and all of that. But I think, and maybe I'm overthinking this. I don't think this is a hot take. I'm not trying to hot take this. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Oh, well, first, Kerry Joseph was the quarterback's coach. That motherfucker shouldn't get a job a day in his life, because that man and Caleb Williams should have been best friends. If Caleb Williams is saying that if he's watching tape alone, then somebody need to look at Kerry and be like, "Yo, what the fuck was you doing? Where were you at?" But the Caleb Williams thing really, this right here showed how inept the Bears organization has been. And there's not a Bears fan that is smart, and there's not a Bears fan that is smart that's going to tell you that, oh, yeah, so what? No, we been knew this shit. We been knew it. We knew Caleb Williams' daddy was, but even before we heard all of this, we been knew that that could even just be the case. We all talked about, could Caleb Williams do the Eli Manning? Everybody did. So we know they were trying to do this. But I believe this sets up either the biggest redemption story in NFL history or the biggest disappointment, the biggest fail in NFL history. And I'm not hot taking this. Here's why I believe this. The Bears is a charter franchise. Also, Bears is the only team that has not had a 4,000-yard rusher. Not only do we know that, when the Pope was named, it was comedy because they said that we got a Pope before we had a 4,000-yard rusher. Passer, excuse me. This team has been inept in many ways, including their organization as a whole. But it's other organizations that's been like this. Look at the New England Patriots. When New England, before they got Tom Brady, before they got Drew Brees, after 85, just like the Bears, they was in worse shit than us. They were the worst franchise in NFL history. With all of the shit that's going on, Caleb is now looked at poorly. His daddy didn't help. Last season didn't help. The Bears is always going to be looked at poorly. So everybody's expecting this to fail. If Caleb Williams and the Bears not only prosper short term, meaning this coming season, but if he turns out the quarterback that they clearly thought he was going to be, since Ryan Poles told that man, we ain't looking at nobody else, we picking your ass. We ain't talk to Jaden. We ain't talk to Drake May. We ain't talk to none of these niggas. We taking your ass. They set themselves up for a fail or pass moment that is going to be unprecedented, because if Jaden Daniels continues the career that he had last year, and if Drake May beats what we think he could be, and Caleb don't, the Bears are going to be looked at so poorly that it's going to be really hard for somebody to come through. We can talk shit about the Cleveland Browns all we want to. This is worse than that shit. This is worse than any other situation because they end up getting them, and everything the family said they didn't want happened. So this is the biggest pass or fail moment in my history of watching the NFL. And if it don't happen, man, we are in deep shit.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think that's 100% spot on. Like I think that's 100% like you already had very high suspicions about him coming to begin with. If you see all the things that Caleb's daddy was gonna do, just for him to be right. But I also don't think it takes Caleb off the hook either. I think it will be looked at as he wasn't that good to begin with because, yeah, you did get off to a bad start, but they did give you everything you wanted in year two, and you still aren't better than the guy or the guys who were drafted pick a 1 and 2 picks after you. So I do think both will be looked at very, very poorly if this goes left. Dante, what's your thoughts on the article, what you felt when it came out, and how you feel now? That's a fine. You are muted, sir.
Whoa, that's a fine.
Hit the music.
Yeah, I really didn't want people to hear me cussing at this fucking game, so that's my fault. But no, I think it's much ado about nothing. I think it's a situation where Caleb's pop said everything that we felt, and not only did we feel, we lived it. We've seen it. So the idea that him saying quarterbacks go there to die, yeah, we got a laundry list. Like I said, the 85 Super Bowls is the only thing separating us from being the Cleveland Browns. Let's just keep it a bean. Like that's who we are. That's where we are with this shit right now. So for a guy with as much talent and as much potential as Caleb had, I could see, a city and a team and a front office that has a history of not developing quarterbacks. Why would I want to go there? And then you hear about, being left out to dry. And I don't care what, we saw Emmanuel Acho and what he said about, yeah, that's the league. You're supposed to just go in there and watch film. Like, we know that's ridiculous for a rookie quarterback. Like that's just insane. I don't care how much of a savant you are, anything that they said Caleb was before he got to the league. You just don't do that. You don't put him in that position. And so when they did that, I mean, it was just another example of why everything that was said made sense. So, but at the end of the day, he's here. And not only is he here, they've replaced everybody that was, in our opinion, and clearly in his opinion, from what he said, a part of the problem. So you got your coach now. You got more weapons. You got a coaching staff full of people that seemingly love to coach offense. You saw Antoine Randall running through the clip that we saw from minicamp. And so it's like, nah, bro, okay. It happened. It's again nothing that was I didn't read anything new. Like a lot of people thought, it wasn't going. I mean, we knew it wasn't going to work, but I appreciate his pops. Let's do our due diligence here. Let's make sure we get in the best situation for us. And a lot of times people get criticized for that, but it makes sense the way this league, chews up and just spits out people. And it's like, all right, well, you didn't succeed because it's your fault. And it's like, nah, you didn't have the structure around you. So for him, knowing the type of talent his son has and what he's done to build Caleb up, you got to remember this is something that if you read all the articles about Caleb and his pops, this is something since middle school. This is not something where he was just in college and like, oh, okay, my son might be the number one pick. No. This is really on some LeVar Ball shit where they planned this since he was 12. Like, no, you're going to be the number one pick in the draft. And so nothing about this is shocking to me. And I think at the end of the day, it should serve as a wake-up call for the Bears franchise. It's like, nah, bro, get this shit right because we've never gotten it right. And I know we said over a few episodes that, to their credit, not only I won't say their credit, but to shoot them a little bell, they've never been in a position to draft a number one overall quarterback. But however, now that you are in that position, it's like, all right, bro, we've seen the missteps. You got to get it right. So I mean, the article didn't affect me at all, and I'm not surprised. And I'm like I said, now you got your guys. Let's see what you can do. So I'm cool with it. It's not no big issue.
Catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HMB Media and the Barbershop Network.